Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today we're taking a look at some more of these beautiful PNSO minifigures. We are really starting to get down to the bottom of the box now, unfortunately, so there won't be too many of these reviews left, but we can still savor the ones that we do have. So we will be taking a look today at Gala the Alioramus, Black the Allosaurus, and Trike the Qianzhousaurus. So let's take a quick look here. You can't really see too much going on here as far as the habitat. It's kind of like it looks like a deserty type area. And then the Allosaurus, you can see just some plains and beautiful blue sky with a little bit of clouds. And then with the Qianzhousaurus, it's kind of a misty little area. So let's go ahead, pop them open, and we'll be able to get a better look. So there we go, we've got them all out of the box. So here is the Alioramus. You can see the habitat there that it lives. Very nice image. And a beautiful picture on the inside. Not that that's surprising or anything, because PNSO has some of the best dinosaur artwork that you will find anywhere. And with the Allosaurus, there's a better shot of the habitat. And then on the inside, oh look, we even got some sauropods in this one. So that is super cool. Really, really beautiful stuff there. Absolutely fantastic artwork. And with the Qianzhousaurus, there is the habitat. And then on the inside, wow, look at that. That is just super awesome. That's probably one of my favorite pieces of artwork that we've gotten in any of these booklets so far. That is impressive stuff. So these figures are 3 more theropods on bases. So let's go ahead and get these guys up close and take a nice closer look and check out these dinosaurs and their beautiful bases. So we will start with the Alioramus, and this is really a beautiful looking figure. And when you take an overall quick glance at it, it's really nice, but let's check out the actual fine detailing. Taking a look at the head sculpt, you can see that the head sculpt is really beautifully done. You can see the nice nostrils up there at the front of the snout, and you can also take note of all the teeth there, sculpted along the mouth, and there is some significant skin detail all throughout the head sculpt of the figure. So that also looks very nice. You can see the eye is basically just a yellow color, kind of giving it somewhat of an evil looking appearance. I definitely get a very evil vibe coming from the head and the eye area of this dinosaur figure. So as we start to move back along the neck, you can see lots of creases in the skin, lots of wrinkling going on, and then you can also see some slight feathers, some probably proto feathers kind of starting to appear up here on the upper part of the neck. And they are a very nice grayish coloration, and I think gray feathering on dinosaurs just for some reason really works well. I think it really looks very nice, very cool, so I like the fact that they have included those feathers and gave them a grayish color. I think that really looks quite nice. As you move down here into the shoulder blade, you can see the shoulder blade is really quite nicely elaborated. And then you come down into the arms, and you can see it's got 2 fingers, showing that it is a relation of Tyrannosaurus. And the entire hand sculpt and everything is really nicely done. Beautiful detailing again. And then we come up into the stomach. Very nice sculpting of the stomach as well. You can actually see the rib cage there as I turn it. So very beautiful small details like that are some of the things that really make these figures stand out to me. And then again with the left rear leg here, you can see it's taking a step up onto a rock, which that actually looks really cool in itself, but you can see that it's bunching the skin here in the stomach, so very nice attention to detail, not only in the rib cage but also in that area as well, just showing the way that the body would be moving and the motion of the dinosaur would be causing the skin to fold, and it's really nicely done. I really like the creases here right up at the upper part of the leg here, connecting to the hip, where it's kind of pushing into the stomach. I think that looks very legit, very real. You can see the hip bone, nicely elaborated there, and some more beautiful skin detailing and musculature as we run down the thigh of the dinosaur. There is the kneecap, and then you come down to those beautiful calf muscles. And really, again, like I said, I just love the entire pose of this as it's stepping up onto the rock. It really looks cool, very bird-like, and just creates such a cool scene right here. You can again take note of some various coloration and all sorts of different tones of color, as there's a lighter coloration on the underside and an even somewhat different lighter coloration here on the back of the thigh. And then you've got dark browns and a few different variations of dark browns all throughout, and then some of these kind of like almost upside down Y type designs along the body that's in a very light creamy type color, and I think that that really gives it that little bit of flashiness that it needs to stand out. And then of course you've got that gray feathering up here on the top of the body, so lots of color variation included in this figure. And then you run out the length here of the tail, some more beautiful skin detail, and that feathering really looks nice the whole way out and all over everywhere that it is included in this figure. So taking a look at the head sculpt, you can see the head sculpt again looks fantastic. The teeth are really beautifully sculpted on this, and something so small, it's impressive for the teeth to look quite as good as they do. Got the nostril there again, nicely painted eye, and that feathering starts to appear up here on the neck, that very nice gray feathering. And then you can see some skin folds here and some wrinkles in the skin of the neck as we move down into the shoulder blades. Once again, you can really see the shape of the shoulder blade there as it is protruding from the skin a little bit. The Alioramus arms there look very nice. You can see the claws and everything. And the beautiful skin detail. Even the detail on the underside of the stomach you can really see right there. Looks very nice. Again, the rib cage is present. And there's the hip bone. A beautiful musculature in the rear leg. And again, the feet just look excellent. Very bird-like. Really nicely sculpted. And you can actually get a good idea of the base right here, and you can see it's just basically a rocky terrain, but it does look really quite nice, and there are all sorts of different tones of coloration included in the base as well as the dinosaur itself. And then you start to come out the length of the tail once again to a very long pointed tail, and it's in an upward position. So very nice Alioramus, and I really dig this figure. This one may end up being one of my favorites of all these minifigures. It is really quite nice. It gives me an idea that it's just kind of trotting along, maybe looking down at the ground for some kind of small animal that I can scoop up and eat. It's a very cool scene that you have here portrayed in this minifigure. And then we have one of my favorite theropods, and that is the Allosaurus. So let's take a look here at the head sculpt. You can see that that head sculpt looks really nice. Beautiful detailing and sculpting of the head. That eye is perfectly painted. Has a very nice gloss to it. Looks very real. And the teeth actually themselves, you can see on top of being sculpted out, actually have paint included. So that's pretty darn awesome to see teeth painted on a figure that is so small. Really cool. And I like the coloration here of the head. It's primarily like a brown, but then you get a lighter brown up in the Allosaurus crest area. And all the detail in general all around that eye area and the crest looks fantastic. Beautiful sculpt work on this Allosaurus. You can also take note of the nostrils up there, and the nostrils have a slightly different shade of color around them, kind of elaborating them a little bit, so that also looks really quite cool. And then you come down into the neck, and you can start to see some wrinkling of the skin here as the dinosaur is turning its head ever so slightly to the left, and then moving down into the shoulder area. You can kind of get an idea of the shoulder blade protruding from the skin, and then coming down into the Allosaurus arms. Very nice, in a very relaxed kind of position. And then coming back up into the stomach, the skin detail is really nicely done on this figure. And you can kind of see right here that the skin is being pulled as both legs are sort of in a backward position. The dinosaur's kind of rearing up a little bit, so it is in fact pulling the skin somewhat away from the body. That looks very nice. And then we come down, very nice huge musculature here in the leg. It's a very large thigh muscle. Down into those beautiful feet. And now there isn't really anything going on with this base. It's just basically just a legit base. There's no rocky terrain or anything like that. It's just kind of there, but it looks very nice. And then we run out the length of the tail. Very nice sculpting and detailing there as well. Taking a look at this side, that head sculpt is really beautiful. And then you can see that there aren't near as many skin folds or wrinkles in the skin or anything on this side as the dinosaur's pulling its head to the left, kind of stretching the skin and coming down into the shoulder blade. Again, very nicely elaborated from the skin back into the stomach. That beautiful skin texture looks fantastic everywhere you look. And then that hip bone again, that huge thigh, very large Allosaurus thigh. And this foot is kind of up in the air, but it's still connected to the base. You can kind of see it's like almost like a peg type looking thing connected to the foot, but that's just to give the dinosaur figure here some stability and not fall over. So that's probably inevitable. You would kind of need that, but it's just kind of trotting along. And then again, some more very nice skin detail as we run out the length of the tail. The overall coloration of this is a green, and then there are some black stripes here and there, but you can see again some different tones of color included. There are some light greens and even some lighter coloration, almost light browns on the underside, and then 2 variations of brown up on the head. So the coloration of the Allosaurus is very, very nice, and the sculpt is just as nice. Once again, a beautiful figure. And now the Qianzhousaurus, which is really, really cool. When I first took this out of the package, I got a quick glance of it, and I was super impressed. But let's get a nice closer look here at the head sculpt. Look at that head sculpt. That just looks absolutely beautiful. Really nicely painted eyes, and I love that blue underneath the eye. Really kind of accents the eye. It makes the whole eye area pop. And then it's kind of mostly a dull brown color, but that blue just makes the whole appeal of it just so much more. It makes it so striking in the head area. I really think that looks quite awesome. So that was definitely a nice touch on the part of PNSO. The entire head sculpt is just fantastic, as I always say with these minis, but that just shows you the rate of work of PNSO. They just always excel. Beautiful nostrils sculpted out right there. The eye is painted absolutely perfectly on this side as well. Really nice gloss included also. So that head sculpt is fantastic. And then you can see some feathering starting to appear up here on the top of the head. It's primarily just a dark brown, but it's, I think, an ever so slightly darker brown than what you see on the body. And then you've got lots of wrinkling here of skin in the neck. And then coming down into the arms, you can see 2 fingers. This is a relation of Tyrannosaurus Rex. And then coming into the stomach, really nice skin detail. Honestly, I think the skin detail of this might be the best out of these 3 that we just looked at. Really, really looks beautiful. And you can also, again, take note of the rib cage. As I turn it, it kind of shines through a little bit there. Coming back here into the hip. Very nice hip bone. And that beautiful skin detail. Again, that skin texture just looks really, really legit. It looks very real, in my opinion. There's the kneecap. It's nicely present. And you can see the foot there just kind of walking along a dirty area. It's on like an actually I guess a downhill slant. It's walking down. And this is definitely the biggest base that we have on any of these figures that I can recall. Potentially one of the most detailed bases as well, as there is just a ton of sculpt and detailing of the dirt and brush all over the base. It looks very, very nice. And then you can see some more beautiful sculpting of the skin detail as we run out the length of the tail. There are all sorts of skin folds and wrinkling of the skin, and very nice coloration. You can almost get an idea of some striping that goes along the tail of a lighter, almost like a creamy brown. Looks very nice. And then you get out here onto the tip of the tail, and again some more feathering. You can see that the feathering kind of runs down the back and then stops around mid-hip area and then picks back up on the tail. Something I don't really see too often, but I think looks very cool. And then looking at the neck again on this side, you can see some more very nice skin folds and all sorts of wrinkling of the skin. A lighter coloration here on the underbelly looks very good as well. And then coming down to the arms, once again you can sort of take note of the shoulder blade and the very nicely sculpted hands and arms of the dinosaur. And get an idea of a little bit of the musculature of the arms. And there is the rib cage once again in the stomach, and that beautiful, beautiful, absolutely beautiful skin detail and skin texture looks fantastic. You get an idea of some skin folds here in the stomach right around the leg area. And then that nicely sculpted hip bone. And coming down, beautiful musculature. Very nicely sculpted feet. And just look at how nicely sculpted even the nails are sticking out of the feet. Man, that's super impressive for being this tiny. You can even see the dew claw on the opposing foot there. Incredible sculpt work. And then we come out the length of the tail again, and it looks great. And this one is primarily a brown, but there appears to be a nice dark wash that has been included. And as usual, there are just tons of different tones of coloration all throughout the body of this, making it look very real. And I think this might be my favorite out of all the minifigures so far. I say that quite often, but that's because I'm continuously impressed more and more by these figures, but this one honestly is just absolutely magnificent. So as far as the size goes on these minifigures, from the tail to the head, you're looking at about 3.5 inches on the Alioramus, or about 9 centimeters, and for a height you're looking at about 2 3/4 inches, or a little bit under 7 centimeters in height. to the tip of the tail. And for the Allosaurus, from the head to the tail, again about 3.5 inches or 9 centimeters in length. And for a height, you're looking at just a hair under 3 inches, or about a little bit under 8 centimeters. And for the Qianzhousaurus, you're looking at, for a length, a little over about almost 3.25 inches, or about 8 centimeters in length, about 2.25 inches, and about a little bit under, maybe about 5.5 centimeters, maybe close to 6. For a size comparison, there is our buddy, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, again showing you that he just dwarfs these minifigures. It's always a good day to him when he can come out and size himself up against these tiny figures, but again giving you a pretty good idea of the sheer size of these minis. They are super tiny, but super detailed and really well painted. As always, I cannot stress the point enough that it is incredibly impressive just how much paint and sculpt that PNSO manages to get into these small figures. Incredibly impressive. So there are 3 more theropod minis from PNSO, and 3 more really beautifully done representations of each of these different species. PNSO really goes the extra mile when it comes to the presentation of their figures, with these incredible booklets that they always include with an awesome picture of the habitat of the dinosaurs. And in general, just the artwork on the inside is pretty much worth the price of admission because they are always so nice. But then you get these absolutely jaw-dropping minifigures, and there are so many different species to choose from. As I said, 48 different species that are included in this box set in these miniature forms, and they really are quite cheap, so it's a great price for something that is just so well done. And again, you get the awesome booklet and everything like that included. So PNSO is pretty much giving you a steal when it comes to these figures, and there are so many different species to choose from and so many obscure species. The Alioramus, I don't know if it's even had a figure. I think maybe Collect Day has done one, but I don't really think it was all that great from what I can recall, but it's been a while, so I could be wrong. But you've got an Alioramus, which is a severely overlooked figure, something that does not get figures very often. You've got an Allosaurus, which is a common dinosaur, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with that because Allosaurus is a great dinosaur. And then you've got the Qianzhousaurus, which I don't think has ever had a figure before. I've never seen one, so kudos to PNSO for pulling out a completely obscure species like that has not had a figure previously. So again, 3 fantastic looking minifigures that I highly recommend. So I will include links in the description to where you can purchase each and every one of these on the Amazon PNSO store, and trust me, they are worth it. So go ahead, click those links, buy yourself some fantastic theropod minis from PNSO, and please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.